All right, we'll call this meeting to order of the Shelbyville Municipal Planning Commission. Roll call.
Mayor Carroll.
Here.
Commissioner Gill.
Here.
Commissioner Gonzalez. Here. Chairman Landers.
Here.
Commissioner McGee.
Here. Sorry.
Commissioner Moore.
Here.
I thought I saw him. Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Councilmember Blevins.
Here.
Commissioner Wilhoit.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you do have a quorum, 7 members present, 2 absent.
All right. Moving along, approval of the agenda.
Do a meeting.
Yes, if we could just remove the administrative item under staff report number 8B. I didn't have time to prepare for the comparison of the sign ordinances, and I will bring that back in March.
Okay, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion if that's changed.
Second. Motion to the second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Approval of minutes from December 18th, 2025 and January 22nd, 2026.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, I would request January 22nd, 2026 minutes be deferred to the next meeting. The December 18th were delivered prior to this meeting, so if they could approve those and defer the January ones, I would appreciate it.
I'll make a motion to defer January and approve December's minutes.
Second. Motion made, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 5, constituent comments. Ms. Lisa? you have this?
Yes, sir, we do. We have public comments. The first one is Becky Woodruff.
Good evening.
Ms. Woodruff, you have 3 minutes to make your comment. The clock will start when you start speaking.
I'm here in regard to the James Swing and Don Bobo property, which we all know has been brought up many times, and we're very much aware of how they're trying to redo it this time. And I would like to know if a bond has been set for this yet. And how much is the bond? And what is the length of the bond? And then also, when we brought this up before, there was where TDOT had requested several things that must be done before this property was to be developed. And before this is developed, I do hope this is taken into consideration, everything that TDOT has asked them to do. Just because our developer here is saying that they are going to do this doesn't mean anything. It still has to be of the approval of TDOT. And our infrastructure here in Bedford County, I feel like, really at this time is not conducive to this type of development. I think we're a little bit premature in trying to do a development of this magnitude. Then also, we also had Mr. John Teague at one time to come in front of you in regard to our governor talking about Duck River and our supply of water. That does not only affect this development, but it would also affect everybody here in Bedford County, plus several other counties in our municipalities. And there's one thing that has really been on my mind, and I would like to ask this question. I have understood that there where they're coming from this property, coming down Cloverdale, this is an access part. And understanding this terminology, there is a word spike. And I feel like this needs to be researched. Because if there is this term spike in that, we all know they're going to have a different access. And these are things that I feel like that they need to be addressed. That's just like another thing is our school system, that they're saying that they will be willing to give this property to build a school on. But that could be 25 years from now, because there's other schools that have priority over that. And, where it is going to be located, what land did they designate to actually put this, school on? Is it conducive?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker.
Okay, there are 3 more speakers signed up. If one of those has an opposing view to Ms. Woodruff, we would ask that you speak next. Do anyone have an opposing view? If you do, raise your hand. Okay, if not, then the next speaker is Terry Britt.
Right,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir, how did you pronounce your name?
right, like bright light.
Right, like bright light, okay.
I'm a neighbor to this development. I'm not opposed to the development. I am very concerned about the high density for the townhouses, the narrow roads, the parking issues, the townhouses without garages. I mean, in the adjacent property, there's already a traffic jam inside the housing development, let alone on 41A every morning and every afternoon. The single family homes are a beautiful area. They've done a nice job laying it out. It's this high density areas. Has the city looked into the infrastructure, the water, the sewers, the traffic, the electricity? I've come in from areas where there are brownouts and blackouts, and we haven't experienced too many of them here. But when you throw in so many of these houses, and I wonder who's going to be living in them, you're going to be you've created your problem that you won't be able to solve immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Our next speaker.
The next speaker is Margaret Busby. Ms. Busby, you have 3 minutes to speak. The time will start when you
Keep it
start.
short and sweet.
Good evening.
Thank you.
I'm Margaret Busby. I'm a Bedford County resident up in the Unionville area, so I don't live right next door, but I have family members who live off of Cloverdale. I drive back and forth to Shelbyville and Unionville multiple times a day, and I've seen what 41A looks like at Union Station, and I know with this volume of housing going into this spot, it's not going to get any better. My opinion on this matter is the Planning Commission got it right the first time. R1 is appropriate for the area. That's what all these neighborhoods are. You've got Cloverdale, you've got Garden Gate, you've got Fairlane Estates, Union Heights. All of these are R1. This is in keeping with what we've got in the area. I'm not against growth. I'm just against really fast, uncontrolled growth. And so, keeping it at R1, I think would be a move forward, and we need the housing, but it's not just a huge amount. Specifically tying in through the Cloverdale neighborhood using Cloverdale Road. That one scares me. There's no sidewalks in that neighborhood. People walk their dogs, they push strollers, they're out jogging. They're on the side of the road. And when you're going to add 500 residences or more, half of them are going to go Union and half of them are going to go Cloverdale, and you've got people walking, this is a recipe for a disaster we don't want to see. My grandkids live in that neighborhood. I want to keep it safe for them and for all the kids in the neighborhood. We just need to keep that density down a little bit. Secondly, and everybody's already said this, y'all know it, I don't think our city infrastructure is ready. Water is not just our county, surrounding 4 and 5 counties. Everybody's fighting for the same river. It's just not a good situation, and we don't have an answer. We have a finite supply, and there's not any more coming. So we need to grow slowly. I appreciate the offer from the developer for the school property, for the traffic work that he's willing to do. That's admirable, that's good, but it's not enough, not with this many houses. I feel like those numbers need to adjust. I'll close by saying I understand our growth for the community needs to be controlled and thoughtful growth. And I think y'all got it right the first time. R1, I feel like is appropriate, and I think that's good enough. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any?
Yes, we have one more. The final speaker is Megan Butler.
Good evening.
Good evening. I agree with all the speakers before me. I do live right off Cloverdale. I have a brand new baby, almost one more on the way. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the planning. We also don't have just just other resources in Shelbyville. I probably am on 10 wait lists to get into a daycare. Minimal calls back. We got in, but what am I going to do in July with baby number 2? With schools, like the speaker before me said, you know, depending upon what that location is, I'd be zoned for that. But how long did it take Community and Cascade and Shelbyville to get built, or the second locations, or, you know, this one doesn't have a football field, this one doesn't have whatever. Just from the younger perspective, just thinking about these future generations. So that's all that I had. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is all the speakers I had signed up.
Mr. Chairman, real quick, everybody got on their desk a letter somebody wanted to have in the record. I'm just gonna read the subject line. Everybody else is literate here, so we're not gonna read the whole thing. The subject was formal objection to PUD approval based on conditional school site and latent density, and this came from a Ben Woods on Raleigh Place in the city limits. So
We did receive that on our desk. Thank you, Councilman Blevins. Before we move to the next one, I just want to remind everybody of the authority that rests here. The planning commission is an advisory body, and on rezonings, we make recommendations, and the city the city council will have the final authority on this. So I also encourage everyone to stay along and give your input to your city councilman. We'll move on to legislative decisions. A, old business, rezoning, planned unit development, PUD, Remington Farms, PUD. Union Street, tax map 079, parcels 047, 047.02, and 047.03. Case file number PUD 2023-11-001, retroactively assigned a file case number. James Sling and Dawn Bobo, owners, and Huddleston Steel Engineering Incorporated representative, requesting approval of PUD rezoning for approximately 158 plus or minus acres currently zoned I-1 and R1. This application is a resubmittal of earlier application and revises previous development proposal to include 135 townhome units on 14.1 acres, 400 single-family dwelling units on 114.5 acres, 20 acres of land set aside for future elementary school, and 9.83 acres for future commercial development. The parcel is classified in the future land use map as Union Street Corridor. Character area and Union Street is functionally classified as an arterial and national highway system with a suburban future context classification. Tom?
All right, thank you very much. Wait for my IT to catch up with me. I'll just go into a little bit of the history again, just because it's been some time since we've seen this, and then I will jump right into the area of the greatest concern. So this PUD came in around 2023. Originally, there were 715 homes. Through the different iterations, we're down to 535 dwelling units, and of those, 400 single-family dwelling, and then you heard 135 townhome units. There's 20 acres reserved for school and 9.83 for commercial. This is just south of Union Street. You can see from the aerial photograph, it's right next to Union Station. That is to the west, and let's see here. I'll get right into the issue of, I'll go a little bit, I'll have to skip a little bit further into it. The biggest concern is the open space, and I've already briefed the applicant's representative, Chris McGuire, who's ready to speak on it to clarify some aspects of it. This fell under the old standards, which is the 10% of the total site for open space, and then 5% of the total space is for active, formal, however you want to label it. They all are interchangeable: formal, active, or usable open space. From and you have to understand that the pattern book is conceptualized, but it's just hard to understand what the open space and whether or not it meets the requirement. So, with this, maybe Chris can explain the different color variations on it and some aspects that we noticed as far as what the school site that contains the 5 acres of formal and how that is addressed. If I could just have the applicant or the development team actually just explain their drawing and then I'll move on from there.
Hi, everybody. Chris McGuire with Huddleston Steel Engineering. I'm happy to be in front of y'all, and please stop me if you have any questions while I'm going. I have a tendency to run fast. So what we have on our exhibit that you're seeing are the areas in green are passive open spaces. We're showing areas to preserve along conveyances and creeks. We'll preserve the tree lines as much as possible through development. So you'll have nice natural, for a large amount of the lots, will have nice natural backyards that back to creeks with natural tree lines. And that's largely all of the green spaces, the passive green space, which is not really usable for the public. It will not be part of the individual lots. It'll actually be part of a common area owned by the HOA. The areas in blue are certain areas of what we consider active open space. If you look in the top right corner, right along the townhome section, we have a large area that will support the mail kiosk for the townhomes only. They'll have their own little townhome kiosk area and then some outdoor sports fields to give the tenants of those townhomes area for their kids to play and go out, because with a school site being proposed, it's very likely that that is probably the type of people who will be searching out these townhomes. As you go deeper into site, about middle topish, we've got the main mail kiosk area that'll serve primarily for the single family portion. That'll be constructed in the first phase. The first phase will bring development all the way back to the creek, which will create the pump station and serve sewer for all of the residential and for the school site. So the mail kiosk for the single family will come in section 1. As we cross over the creek, we have a little pocket park that'll help serve that side that's on the other side of the creek. Make sure that nobody has to drive all the way across the development for their kids to play. Then as we start coming down closer to the south, we have a dog park and another sport-like facility to give children another opportunity to get out, play, and adults to have additional space to do activities with children and potentially parties, stuff like that.
You mean like just an open green space?
It'll be an open green space.
Facility.
We've looked at ideas of putting in some soccer goals or something along those lines to try to kind of formalize the space into more of a sport centered, but we don't want to limit it to that. We want to give people the opportunity to use just a nice open area to run and play.
And Chris, let me just run this on. So the specific questions that came up on this is the blue area, or does this section, the residential portion of the PUD, comprise of what's your requirements?
Hey, Tom, can you point to us on that
Sorry.
there, please?
So
They need to know too.
I was doing it for the audience. But yes, so does the blue and the green, do they comprise the total of the open space? And then I guess the question is that the blue, does that, I guess, address the formal open space that's in blue on the side?
So the blue space shown is not the only open space that we considered. We we did evaluate the school site. We looked at about a dozen school sites to look at the size of playgrounds, the size of open spaces that they create as well, that communities oftentimes use. When I'm coaching baseball, we're using their facilities all the time for practice. So on average, I found between 5 and 7 acres. So to go more conservative, I went with 5 acres that I would assume would be coming with the school site.
So what is the acreage measurement of the 5 blue areas on that map?
So
Dude,
the measurement of, so
Yeah, the
the,
combined acreage of those 5.
so the townhome, kiosk, and sports facility.
Yeah.
The male kiosk pavilion, the playground, the dog park, and the second sports facility. And then 5 acres of the school site, which we find is typical.
Okay, so by my math, and just correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying 8.25, so you're saying those 5 combined are 3.25 acres?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tom will probably get to this, but I'll go ahead and dive in anyways. Part of our zoning requirement for usable open space, it has to be available to the people in the development for use in perpetuity, 24 hours a day. This is not going to be property held by the HOA or by the homeowners. This will be owned by the county if this goes forward. It does not meet our open space regulation as presented.
And I would add that it doesn't meet your formal open space.
Formal open space, you got to be clear. Formal open space
It has-
has to be accessible from a public road.
Well, for formal, it has to be active, and it has to be something that you develop, and you're not showing that, you're not developing that. So the 5 acres on the school site cannot be included.
and
It
I
doesn't meet
don't,
the definition.
sorry.
Well,
And I don't know if it was considered or if it's feasible or not, because I know that this is conceptualized. But one of the requirements for active open space, you can also utilize that green area along there. I didn't know if you.
no, that was not.
That if you had a pedestrian path, because I don't know if you noticed it when I'm looking at this, there's a lot of areas where you have internal connections that are created along there. And you know, so it was just an idea that came up during that. And I wasn't sure how this was calculated, so that was just, you know, so it might be something that needs to be evaluated.
Well, and coming back to that, as far as the PUD requirement goes for calculating the required open spaces, since the school site is not actually going to be part of the public, is that no longer included in the required area to be in the calculation?
That, and that is the other thing that I thought about initially as well, but since it was shown in this, I took it at face value in terms of the calculations.
And I don't want to speak for the developer, but it's something that we could certainly revise before we go before council to add some type of, it would need to be some type of natural walking trail in those green areas connecting some of those internal parks. TDEC gets a little bit finicky when we start trying to make it a hard surface, but it is certainly an option that I think is reasonable, and it would create a large amount of, we would end up with plenty of formal open space to that end.
Mr. McCarthy, I would just, I want to point out a couple of things. I think what we would want is that this page has to be amended to show each one of these areas that you are considering and label it either are just general open space or the active, formal, whatever. What do we call it, Tom?
Well, and that-
Usable.
call it
We call it
usable, but
usable. That's our word.
Active
We
and
need to
passive.
see exactly what you're labeling as usable and regular, and we need every one of those. They need to have the acreage on each one. That needs to be changed.
I
So
can do that for sure. And that was the intention between the green and blue. The green was considered open space and the blue was considered usable open space. But if we're going to add a walking trail, I can revise the exhibit to reflect that.
And the other thing I would point out is we probably need to have a distinction. 2 of your blue spaces deal with kiosks. The mail kiosk itself is not considered open space.
the pavilions is what we were hoping would help that condition. It would hopefully provide more of a space of gathering.
So is there a separate, I see you've got a pavilion over a mail kiosk as an example. Is the pavilion going to be separate from the mail kiosk? And in, on one of these is a townhome mail kiosk and sports field, so obviously you're going to have a sports field. That part we would need to, separate out.
Okay. I could certainly do that.
We just need all that on your
Yeah,
document.
that would be a way that would be to amend that page of the pattern book, is that how we would?
Yeah, we need that, they need to change that, yeah.
Yeah, so we run into this, on our last HUD as well. They ran into a similar situation where it just wasn't clear enough and just needed to be
Yeah.
clarified for us.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, all right, Ed.
No, I don't have anything more on there. I put two of the biggest concerns. Unless you want to continue.
Thank you.
How's that?
Of course.
So, two of the biggest concerns, had to do with this particular one for the planning commission. And then, I'll get right into, the traffic aspects of it. And I should have started this at the beginning, that the majority of staff comments, and I would say the substantial amount, have been addressed as far as, the maximum amount of connections, that's available for this site, as well as the architectural, all those portions. And then, we've worked through a resolution with TDOT, the developer, and the city as well. And I'll get into that part. So, what you're looking at is are the different phasing, but it also shows the connections of the street, which ones are in the different phasing, portion of it. The connection to Cloverdale, and I'll add that nothing really has changed in terms of this, diagram, with the exception of the addition of the acreage for the school. But as far as the phasing, this was something that was worked out with our city engineer, Public Works, on what was feasible from a standpoint from operations for the traffic. You're seeing that this is more of a site context, but let me jump right into the actual traffic portion of it. So this is what you're seeing on this slide is actually the what we worked with the developer and staff and TDOT in terms of coming to an agreement for the impact of this development on the traffic in the area. So as you can see, there are certain thresholds that will come into play as the project is developed out. Signal warrant is approximately 70% of the number of units. And let me just back up a little bit too as well, is that these improvements were based off of the 715 units as well. So nothing's really changed about the improvements other than the city, TDOT, and the development team have come to an agreement on this portion of it. But even though they've reduced the traffic impact by reducing the number of houses, they still retain what they're proposing to improve. But you have the signal warrant there, you have that connection to Colorado. The one thing that is not shown in here, as my note says, and this is something that was, I would say, above what was maybe necessarily required, but the developer has agreed to this in order to, to also help out in alleviating traffic, because that is their concern as well. But to put in a two-way turn lane up to Mack Street. So there'll be 3 lanes from Mack Street to the entrance of their development. There's other improvements that are part of this as well, and I think. Yes.
Tom, when would that be, would that occur in phase 1?
I don't recall, but it was in phase 1. So in phase 1, that's what.
So right off the bat.
I couldn't remember when, if it was tied to the thresholds or certain other improvements.
And the state would do the highway improvement.
No, we will do the improvements with drawings.
with the
approved
state.
by the state.
Yeah, with whatever the state says to do. As far as right of way along that road, I mean, we've got on either side of that road, we've got,
There's enough right of way.
is it gonna use, hang on just a minute. It's gonna use that, shoulder on both sides of that road? That's what you're gonna use to make that lane, or are you gonna expand that whole road?
Well, we aren't even go to the right of way area. So, we will expand out on the shoulder areas to help build the lanes that we get. Because there is sections already down through there that are done that way. So we're going to continue with what's been done before.
There'll be no shoulder at completion, is that correct?
What?
There'll be no shoulder after it's completed, is that?
Well, that's what I was asking, to see how much shoulder we'd have left. Because now we got where people can pull off to the side of the road if they need to, go along that road. And if we take away that shoulder and use that for this, of course, that cuts down on the expense for the contractor, because that's already there. Also, right of way would be a big issue. I know we're working on a lot of intersections in the city that right of way is a big issue. So that's the reason I wanted that question answered, and you answered it for me. And it does do away with most of that shoulder, from what you're telling me, right?
It would be similar to what's along Justin's currently.
Okay.
Now it varies as you go down through, but
Okay.
just approximately.
And I just didn't want to be, the pattern book is what is the regulated document. Even though there was a slight discrepancy between the TIS and the pattern book, it's because well, and actually, Chris provided me some documents that will go into the updated TIS, but that, traffic study was done by R.G. Phillips, and it's, so it wasn't part of their original recommendation. This was something that, went through a lot of discussion on how to address or how to improve the traffic operations in that area. But you can see number 4 is where that discussion is, 3-lane cross section. It's 3'11", but there's varying widths of the shoulder along the way. And then the city is also willing to reduce the speed limit beginning at Grant Station down to 40 miles an hour. Traffic signal will be warranted at 70%. And then right and left turn lanes, which is what's shown in the slides. Okay, I didn't have it in the slides. But there are right and left turn lanes along the project access, as well as, let's see, where did it say left turn lane at project access? Okay.
Is it the project access? Did you say it's 70% completion? That's when that kicks off. What was?
I think all of these ones, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but number 3, the right turn lanes and the widening will occur at the beginning.
At the beginning, the traffic lights, that's it.
Yeah, the traffic light is at 70% because it's not
The
warranted.
improvements are.
Right.
Yeah, and it may not be understood about the traffic light, but the state doesn't permit you to actually install a traffic light at whim, because you can get sued for putting it in or not having it. So that's why there's a warranty.
This is at the project entrance. It's not at.
That's correct, and project entrance. So those are these were the things that were kind of hanging out there as far as some of the concerns. The open space was a concern of the planning commission as well as the city council, and then the traffic part. But then the remaining portion of the presentation had to do more with just a little bit of the site history. You can see it's a long history over 3 years. The changes that were made, which is the reduction in housing. And I also provided which might help. All these are just pretty pictures, but what might help is, I don't have it in there. I thought I had some density calculations in here. No, it's not. It's in my staff report. The density calculation, that's what I was working on last night. Oh,
Do you
I'm trying to
want
think my slides.
It's right here. Do you want to see it?
I know it off the top of my head. So the density calculations are, when you do the total density, it's very similar to between a R1 and R2. I'd say it's about 12,000 square foot lots. And that's what the single family ones are similar to, around a 12,000 square foot. And there's a lot of attributes within this PUD that already matches up to our current standard. For example, they have 7.5 feet for their side yard setback, 15 feet is what, and that's similar within our current code, as well as the frontage is not less than 40 feet, which is something that was advocated by Shelbyville Power. And the other portion of these that, if you don't remember, is that Shelbyville Power supports this because of they have a service charge that's applied to the sewer part. The water can be phased in, but the sewer part of it is where they have a greater concern in that area as well.
I believe it will benefit them in a way.
It will benefit
Other
them, yes.
residents.
And then as far as the traffic part of it, this project is probably the first project that has the greatest amount of improvements to the roadway system. But the other thing that I wanted to bring up is about Colorado. So Colorado was one of the items that was identified by TDOT. And because the level of service in approximately 7 years will degrade to the lowest, basically the lowest. And so TDOT wanted to understand what type of improvements might help alleviate that. But the agreement amongst all the parties, development team, city, as well as TDOT, was that the expense of repairing it, because right now Colorado is at a pretty low grade. And it's moving one grade level less because of the development in 7 years. So about the time when it's at 70% build out, that it was determined to be too much of a burden for one developer to address. So the city, if anybody was here at the last city council meeting, we're pursuing a grant, build grant to actually address Colorado, not wait till 7 years until we have problems, but to actually try to get it done by the 7th year so that it'll improve traffic operations throughout there. So, but as far as everything else, they have met the architectural requirements. It is consistent with our future land use map. The PUD zoning is permitted in that area, and that's why we gave it the recommendation we did. And for those people, and I think Chairman, or is it Vice Chair?
Vice Chair, Chair tonight.
Sitting Chair, yeah, tonight your Chair had brought up, as far as the PUD goes, it is a recommendation from the Planning Commission to City Council because this is a legislative decision. And so this will be falling on, I see a lot of council members here that are trying to understand the project as well, since some of them weren't here at the time when this first came in.
Were there any comments or outstanding comments from the Shelbyville Fire Department? There, I believe there was something of.
Yes, and I did put it in here. So if you look at this portion here, and this is what I'm including in all of my reports, this is actually the coverage area of the fire department. This one includes the proposed fire station in the middle here. Right now, what we have is we have more coverage within the core of the town, and then at the head of or north of us, but nothing, we're weak in the middle.
Yeah. It's with the development in there, it significantly impacts that, and we want to keep a rating.
That's right.
And I
Yes.
know that there were concerns with that.
Yes, they, no matter what, the fire department is probably at their limits, and will need to have another fire station. I mean, that's the reality of it. And but as as far as currently, they did not have any,
They're able
opposing
to meet,
comment.
they're
They're,
able-
they're able to meet the requirements right now. What a lot of this as well plays into has to do with our ISO rating and impact on insurance.
Yes, which affects all.
So as far as the service goes, they're able to meet the service requirements.
I didn't know any comments to the, that they couldn't, but I just wanted to know if there were any comments or anything that you wanted to address with the commission while you're explaining.
No, they did not have any additional concerns on this.
Do you have anything else?
That is it for, no, I don't, unless anybody has any comments.
Do you have any questions?
Oh, yeah. I do. Let's start with traffic. That's the big one. Let's talk about the signal warrant. The traffic study that we're providing has a 70% signal warrant at 715 units plus commercial. Are they going to let them put it in at 70% of the current building?
That is what I understand is that TDOT concurred, with the.
It doesn't meet the warrant anymore at that number. 70% of 500 is not 70% of 700.
Yeah, that's, the last time we met with, and and I don't know, the last time we met with Stanley on this, was the proposal for 715 or was it for, the reduced number? Because,
Yeah.
okay, so it was.
TIS has 715, so TDOT's agreed in writing to allow 70% of the current.
Yes, they've sent us their, the last time we met with them, they did send their email about their concurrency on it.
Okay, the agreement, which I realize is between staff and the developer and TDOT and everybody on the traffic, there were 5 current intersections studied on the TIS, plus the additional new intersection that'll be coming in.
Yes.
They all had a degradation of level of service. This proposed fix stops at Max Street. It doesn't,
Yes.
We're not doing anything past Max Street by the developers, that the current proposal that we're considering tonight. Okay, the traffic engineer, first off, recommended a westbound turn lane into Max Street to fix Max Street's issues. That's not on the board tonight. That's not, if we're starting at Max Street, that's been taken off the board. Colorado, we have a degradation of level of service. I understand it's expensive. There's been no offer to offset even a portion of that, is my understanding. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And we're relying on all we've got to go on from the city side right now is the building grant. Do we have any other money in the pipeline that could cover any of that cost?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for Buck because I believe he has other plans for improvements along there because of, we've got, towards, Vine Street, let's see what that is. So towards Vine Street, there's additional improvements.
Coming from the
But it doesn't,
Lexington coast.
yes, but it doesn't include 3 lanes because that came in before, this development. That's why that one isn't in there.
Yeah, I mean, the issue with that, apart from Colorado, is the study shows that at build out, we've got 950 inbound cars an hour passing Max Street. They get a degradation of service down to an F in the afternoon and an E in the morning. We're not even following the traffic engineer's recommendation to fix that. So Max Street is getting nothing out of this. There's no improvement for Max Street that fixes that problem. We're not offering any fix at Colorado. We don't have that money in the pipeline yet. That build grant had a 4% success rate last year. So it is a low success grant and we don't have any other money coming in. But I would love to hear from the applicant on the traffic issue and what you're offering and what you're not offering.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. In my review of their study, once we had looked at changing it all to 3 lane, that helped all of those level of service degradations. The need for turn lanes, when you're doing a 3 lane with a center turn lane, it reduced that delay time that was causing the degradation of the intersections.
Yeah, they were asking for a center turn lane coming westbound. You're offering one on the other side of Max Street, right?
Correct. Yeah, but we are the level of service is based off both directions. So providing that middle turn lane helps fix that level of service and that timing of delay.
Okay, so what are you expecting level of service to be from Max Street after that?
I have to re-review the report. It was a good 300-page report. I can try to look while
Okay,
we
that
continue.
wasn't, so there's a separate traffic report we've not seen that has this new center lane
I
in it?
believe his updated, the latest updated report had made a statement to that effect. That
It didn't have anything about the middle lane from Max Street. We got that. It had the addition of Colorado asking for fixes at Colorado, but it had no,
Yeah, it was just there was just a,
there's an addendum at the
a
front for
description
Colorado.
of it, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't look through the entire report to see if it impacted the, if the numbers were amended based off of that 3-lane.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, there was nothing in the report we received as a planning commission about that middle turn lane
yeah.
from Max Street to the project access.
Yeah, and Buck, when we were first looking at the date of the previous traffic study, he felt like what the improvements were proposed would alleviate a lot of those, because since the three-way turn lane would help with the cross traffic, and that's where the majority of the crossing is. I know that there's not a lot of help for.
Yeah, I'm saying from Max Street to Colorado is where we
Yeah,
still got
yeah,
issues
that's
that
where
we're
the-
not addressing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not addressed in this plan at all. And we're degrading the level of service for that stretch of road, which contains some businesses. It contains a Old
Yes.
Tuck Zone, contains Piggly Wiggly, and we're not addressing that at all.
That's correct.
That will have to be fixed. That will fall on taxpayers to fix. Or grants if we get them, but yeah, we don't have any guarantee that if we approve this, we're guaranteed to get a development. We're not guaranteed to get the grant.
Yes.
I want to move from that to the 20 acres. There's allegedly an agreement between the developer and the school system on that. We've not seen that. What is the nature of that agreement? How long does that run? We're not a party to that contract at all, and we've not seen it. So have they guaranteed us the school? Have you given them a set time period? What's the actual nature of the agreement?
The agreement with them and stuff that's been approved and everything is that once we do the improvements on the main road and record the plat in the first phase, the school site will be that, and that lot number will be transferred to them at that time. They basically asked for a 20-year period. They said they can build the school anytime in between there. They also asked for an option of additional 5 years if they wanted to build this elementary school.
After the
so-
20 years, an
Yeah.
option of the.
What happens?
Additional 5 years.
Yeah, what happens if that agreement expires and they've not had the money to build the
After
school?
25 years and stuff, then they have to transfer it back.
So it reverts
And that's-
back to you.
That's per their request.
Okay.
So,
And we are not, and I've spoke to our attorney about this before, we're not party to that agreement, so we have no control. You could renegotiate that agreement next week as two separate parties that we're not.
well, the agreement has been approved through the school board.
Correct.
So-
But you, the two of you as a developer, them as the school board, could go back and renegotiate that in 5 years, and there's nothing we can do in zoning that ties them to 25 years. What do we have the
Well,
ability to do?
I told you, I mean, you could potentially block that property from any type of amendment. Or what?
So no development for 25 years.
Unless
other
it's a
than
school.
The county does it. Yeah.
And if I may add as well, no matter what, any type of amendment to the PUD, whether it's an increase in the number of housing or reduction or change in the open space, requires a approval. If you reduce the open space requirements, if you add additional housing, it automatically becomes a major amendment that would require going back up to the city council for approval on it. And if it doesn't, like we recently had a PUD amendment that was administrative level, or what they call a minor PUD amendment. That one actually increased the size of the open space and then reduced the number of housing and just converted it to over to commercial. So that one was a planning commission approval. So there's mechanisms in place, and I just wanted to just make that.
Last one for now. This is in the Union Street corridor character area. How many current townhome developments are either in the plans or have been built in that character area?
In the Union Street, let's look at an aerial photograph of it.
Lexington Cove.
Lexington Cove, that's off of, that's off
But
the.
it was on Pine Street right there on.
Yeah, that's another.
Yes, that one's in.
That's one of the exits. There's five.
It's in a mixed district.
Yes, that one's extensive.
We feel, I don't know, are they built out yet?
There's no townhomes there.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other townhomes in that area.
There are none.
I
No,
think-
I drove the roads
Yeah,
myself
I think
today
this is
just to
the
double
only
check.
one.
There has never been a townhome in that character
I thought they were
area.
individual.
And we've never approved one in that character area, which this would be a change of character for that area in our future land use map, so.
In the commercial development out front, the Union Station area had commercial development. Of course, it's still sitting there, after all these years. Have we got, there's a developer, they just want it zoned as commercial, and then the city of Shelbyville will have to work with the merchants or whomever to get those into this area, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. I thought that's the way it works, yeah. Yeah. But Union Station had that originally, but they never.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments? Then I will entertain a motion.
I think the traffic issue and even what's proposed, if they put the turning lanes in there today, it would make some relief. With Lexington Cove, with the development itself, I think after that's done, I think we're back to where we are today. I don't think there's enough as far as the traffic. I mean, eliminate the shoulder. I'm not sure that's the best answer either. The traffic is a big issue.
We all know that the bypass is in the future, but it's not coming anytime soon, but that would help.
It's dead for the time being, yeah.
A lot.
What is the plan there at Vine Street? Because that's going to be
I think they
That's
worked
gonna be
something
a
out
big
with
impact
TDOT,
Yeah, there's improvements on Vine Street.
I don't know about on Vine Street. It's not Vine Street that's the problem. It's Union Street, I guess is what I'm getting at, where Vine meets Union. That's.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was concerned about where it goes from 4-lane, right there in front of the Nazarene Church or the old hospital, down to a 2-lane, and then we come back out to a 3-lane. So that was what I was asking Tom today, what was the city plans when we talked about that? And we planned to do 3 lanes, so it'd just go 4-lane down to 3-lane and not confuse it.
It's the area from about Mack Street to like Piggly Wiggly right there. And there, you know, there's some wider, it's wider pavement there to work with, but it kind of goes down a little bit right before Mack Street. So it's kind of that one area right in
I know
between.
right there at Green Hills where the pond is, there's no room to add additional shoulder, even if you had permission to, because there's a ditch on one side and another side falls off probably a good 6 to 10 feet, maybe more.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it'd be an expense, you know.
if you went off the road slightly, there's no air, there's no room for air. The traffic, I don't think what's proposed is enough to resolve the issue. I think even if, like I said, the turning lanes, even if they were there today, it would provide a little bit of immediate relief right now with the stuff that we've already approved that's coming. You're just back to square one. It's going to be a mess. And I understand you, T-Dot come down here and they spend whatever, but I've traveled that road every day. I guarantee you I can have more experience than what T-Dot looked at, laying rubber hose across there and counting some cars. But it's just my thoughts. Traffic is going to be a significant issue right there. And then we've talked about some things here that aren't necessarily, I don't know if they need to be corrected.
Yeah. Amended,
We've
we talked about
got
some.
normal open space versus green space, calculations. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of in the air. I mean, if we want to go ahead and vote on it, we can. But
Yeah.
it looks like to me there's some things here that need to be fixed.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
It just doesn't look, polished enough to vote on it tonight. But I will if you want.
amendment on the open space and, you know, I would be for the no development in 25 years, the making that, something that we would this commission would stick to tonight to the, but that's something we can throw in there. I mean, if we wanted to approve this or whatever, we could add whatever amendments, you know, we need or conditions. If you are not ready, I don't know. It's up to the commission.
Let's talk about the calculations that you had mentioned, this 3.25 acres. And then defining, you know, green space, formal green space.
Yeah, that's what's on the proposal, and I was offering now to change some of that, yeah, but that's what we're presented with.
So if we vote, there's no guarantee it has to change, right?
Well, if we tied it,
Council that has to change.
yeah.
Yeah.
With the, you know, we would recommend it with those type of, conditions or amendments that we've mentioned, if y'all are comfortable with that. If, you know, if you're not and you want to see the plan yourself, next month, do that too. I mean, it's just our decision.
Well, it's been 2 years. Every time I pull out of Green Hills Drive, Galaxy Drive, Cloverdale Drive, I look at the concept and say, well, if there was a turning lane there, is that going to help me any? And it's not, because the traffic still is kind of, the turning lane just helps them get in. But you're not changing the amount, the volume of people moving.
And that burden shouldn't fall strictly on the developer.
Well, it's not it's their fault, but it's certainly not going to help.
And they're, you know, they're doing their fair share, I guess, you know, with the improvements that's going, and that's much appreciated because, you know, they've gone above and beyond. But I don't know what'll cure, you know, the perfect pill to cure the growth, you know. But I hear your concerns, and I think we all do.
I mean, I'll make a motion if we're ready for a motion.
I have a motion is, Tom, did you have something to say?
Well, I will add that, you know, because traffic is always a concern. And that's why we rely on these reports. And, but I understand what Councilman Blevins was saying too, is that maybe, those numbers that there should be an alignment throughout, with as part of, any type of approval or recommendation. But you know, I think that when we speak about traffic, we do have to base our, from planning commission, and myself too, we have to base it on a regulatory, something that we can actually all, review as well as use as support for these decisions. And I get that, you know, and I'm not disparaging, you know, from a subjective, because I know, you know, I've been in those places too. And it's, yeah, so I just wanted to.
You know, we've also noticed that, and I know it doesn't apply to them because they had applied prior to the changes of this green space, open space, all this stuff. I mean, we've got that changed up to 30% now. Is that correct?
Yeah, if this had come in after.
And this would be equivalent to, and I know I'm not penalizing you for that. I'm just saying there's a reason that we've changed that is because we've realized that there's not enough room for people to, I mean, that's not a lot of room for what is it, 500 houses, 535
They
residents?
they kind of lowered the density too, though, correct?
The density hasn't really changed that much from the
What did you
previous.
say about the R2?
It's about in between R1 and R2, about 12,000 square feet. So, you know, it's still the dense. Now, the townhome part is 9.59. When you segregate it out. And then the housing is around, I can't remember, it's like 3.8 or so.
And the
Units
the
per-
offering of the school, I mean, that's a great idea. But do we really want a school right there on the main highway? Is that the best place for it?
I don't know. You can pick a place. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know, I'm not saying, I'm not asking them to move it, I'm just saying it's, you gotta get what you take what you get, I guess, but I just have a lot of problems with the traffic, the concerns there. So,
Chairman, I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
Based on those numbers, 400, 135, about 200-foot turning lanes and 150-foot turning lanes, that's going to accommodate 20 vehicles. Lengthwise to turn in to this development, two separate entrances. If we're at 70% level, that's 370 vehicles. How they want all vehicles. That would be what would be required for servicing that development if the houses are full at the 70% level before the signal.
I'm hoping to annex that back portion of it and connect up to Rabbit Hill, but I don't know. I don't know the answer.
What is going to be the primary entrance if the school was built? Is it the Cloverdale or is it the
More than likely, yeah, if it's, if the school comes in, more than likely, they will have to connect up to the main, to Union Street and not go through Cloverdale. Unless they're picking up kids.
And our interest coming in is through like, to accommodate the schools, so.
The entrance coming into the development from the highway there.
Yeah, it's just more of
all the way
a.
to first intersection.
one was the same 20 years?
That was the trade-off.
So there was an agreement or some type of talk with the fire hall, but that's no longer in play.
That's correct. That was the trade-off, was the school for the fire hall.
Okay.
Chairman Gillis, can I speak?
Yeah, approach, please. State your name, Dan Bobo.
My name is Dan Bobo on behalf of the developer. So we've heard several things tonight, specifically some very detailed questions about the level of service after the change. Concerns with the 3-lane cross section going down the highway and an open space plan. So if it pleases the commission, we would like to ask for a 30-day deferral. We will clean up the open space programming. So we'll have those acreages spelled out, program the uses a little bit more specifically. And then at the same time in that period, we'll go back to our traffic engineer and try to answer the specific questions Mr. Blevins had. And two, there has been a lot of communication, a lot of meetings with the city, a lot of meetings with TDOT for well over a year on how to improve or what to do with Highway 41. And I agree that there's a lot of traffic out there. I don't think if this piece of property never developed, it would not slow down. It wouldn't change. It would not become less traffic. There would be more coming from further out the county. We, working with TDOT, felt that making a 3-lane cross section, it's a true turn lane, which eliminates a whole lot of the rear end accidents, and that is part of this after meeting with TDOT. It's the primary reason for them to require turn lanes and specifically that one from this project is precedent. So there's been a lot of discussion on it. I mean, we know traffic is an issue, and I think we've done everything that we can to try to make it better. And so if it pleases the commission, we'd like to have a 30-day deferral, clean up some of these things, and come back to you.
Applicant requests a 30-day deferral. Is the commission? We need to make a motion.
I made a motion for that, yes, sir.
Y'all are fine with that? I'll entertain a motion. Or we can still talk
Just
business.
like 2 years. And I appreciate the willingness to correct some of this, but I think at the end of the day, I don't think that, I don't think the city's prepared for this development. I think that's just where, I think that's where we're at. I'm going to make a motion that we move forward with an unfavorable recommendation to the city council.
Got a motion for an unfavorable recommendation. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second, Joe Paul. Roll call.
You agree to send an unfavorable recommendation on this development to the city council. You'll say yes when I call your name. Mayor Carroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
No.
Commissioner McGee,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Blevins,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
No.
Commissioner Wilhoit.
Yeah.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 yeses, 3 noes. So that will go to the city council meeting for March and with an unfavorable recommendation.
All right. Moving right along. Planning Commission decision B, old business B, consolidated review of 3 parcels under same ownership and development. 1, site plan, 1049 Madison Street, tax map 089D, Group A, parcels 4, 4.01 and 4.02. Case file number SP 2025-10-003. JCG Holdings LLC owner, TTL Inc. representative, collectively requesting approval of 8.95 plus or minus acres gravel laydown yard and maintenance storage on 3 parcels. Related case file numbers SP 2025-11-004 and 005. This parcel totaling 4.54 acres is split zoned I2 general industrial and C2 general business. The 3 parcels are split classification in the future land use map. In the future land use map, the access off Madison Street is classified as Madison Street corridor character area, and parcels 4, 4.01, and 4.02 are classified as mixed density residential character area. Thomas, if you please.
So we still have not had our TDOT meeting, which we found out that it's scheduled on April, or in April, sorry. This one was required to come back because in November, the planning commission voted to grant up to 30-day or 90-day deferral, sorry. So if it's okay with the applicant, I think that it warrants a deferral until we have the TDOT meeting, which is in April.
Okay, so this would be for 1, 2, and 3.
That's right, it's consolidated. 1, 2, and 3.
I just want to make sure, do I need to read those 2 and 3? Okay, so you, staff recommends
60 or 90 days, you think?
90. Yeah, it's,
Okay. I'll make a motion to defer for 90 days.
the motion, got a second, Steve? Roll call.
Mayor Carroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner McGee,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Blevins,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilhoit.
Yeah.
Okay, that item was deferred for how long? 90
days.
90 days. At the request of the applicant and recommendation of the staff.
Yes.
Got it?
it will return in May.
Yeah, those 3 items. Yes. For all 3.
Okay.
1, 2, and 3, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. C,
Yeah.
Uh,
preliminary plat, major subdivision, Victory Park, located at tax map 069, portion of parcel 056.01 and 056.08, case file number SD 2025-09-04, Victory Baptist Church owner, St. John Engineering LLC representative, David Alcorn developer, collectively requesting preliminary plat approval of a high-density residential subdivision consisting of approximately 150 townhome units, C horizontal property regime, HPR, on 12.82 plus or minus acres, parcel zoned R4, high-density residential. In future land use map, this area is classified as North Main Street Corridor Character Area. This was deferred from January 2026 meeting to complete TDOT review. TDOT is scheduled for 2/26/26.
Yes, and we had that today. So this, if you recall, this was in the January meeting. 12.57 acres, plus or minus, zoned R4. The proposal is for 150 townhome units. And this is just north of the Cedar Glade PUD, which is also in this month's application. They have addressed all of staff's comments, and then with the TDOT meeting today, there were some improvements that I think, actually I can just go, I didn't have it because we didn't have the meeting. There were the improvements that are required because of development impact is a right turn lane onto, is it Stonecrop, I always forget what's the Stonecrop Circle or Stonecrop, that access into it, as well as creating 3 lanes right at that intersection. So it'll be a true commercial entrance. There'll be 2 right out, as well as a left turn lane. Those are the ones that the developer has committed to, and required by this development impact. But as far as everything else with this project, it meets our standard. And now there's one of the things that was part of the supplemental report that had the information in there about the traffic study is that there at some point, and this is not necessarily related to or because of this development, but there's a signal that's going to be warranted just near Decatur. That's really going to happen only if the commercial development that from the Cedar Glade PUD concept we reviewed last month and that was approved, and you'll see it in this the plat for that roadway, Cedar Glade Circle. So, as far as staff goes, we welcome any contribution that the developer could make towards that. It's just that right now, there's so many variables that are going on. There's so many development within that area, including, sorry, I keep coming to this side, including there's a lot of activity around this area here that's going to impact it. But right now, even with the 3A and 3B that are in Cedar Glade PUD, and Victory Baptist Church would not rise to the level of requiring a signal warrant or signal like that. So.
The TIS thing he had in our, I don't know if this was a staff report, it's one of the documents you sent us.
Yeah, it's probably staff report.
Yeah, traffic signal warranted at 50% of Victory Park and Cedar Glade.
Yes.
That's not true?
Well, that was clarified in the meeting, and I didn't, that was one of my questions too, was what's gonna trigger that?
Yeah.
So it's the commercial part that's gonna, from Cedar Glade Circle, once that is built out, it's gonna warrant that signal. So once 50% for Victory Park, and then all the commercial development will trigger that signal warrant.
So this could go to 100%, it doesn't trigger a signal warrant, we need the commercial with it.
That's correct.
And
even this, the the Cedar Glade PUD to the south there, the 3A and 3B, if that's fully built out, I mean, it's already under construction now, and there's buildings there, and then, Victory Park still wouldn't trigger that signal war.
Is it the same developer? Well, my question is, are we getting this light from the developer, or are we on the hook for it?
No, that was the biggest concern of the, staff as well, is we don't want to burden the city with that. It'll be by some developer. I don't know if it will be by, the developer of this Victory Park, or if those parcels are sold off. There'll be multiple parties that might be involved. And that's why that,
Is there any way to lock that in at this point? I mean, we're
the.
hoping somebody down the road is gonna agree to it, when they buy some of the commercial, is that the deal?
I'll turn it over to David, wherever he went to. Hide in the corner.
You're not developing that commercial, we're just developing the townhomes?
You've got several, different users, and of course, there's the funeral home that is up for sale, and I think there's been some discussion of some things that are gonna come back.
Yeah, that is that one right there to the south, this old parcel there, the house.
I'll be the owner of two of the commercial parcels. Four of the commercial parcels is a different owner, who so happens to be here tonight.
Yeah, so during the meeting, that was one of the things that we identified as the significant variable, is that you have multiple developments happening in the area with multiple different owners. And
Would you like to put in our traffic light?
David said he wasn't there. So he wasn't at the meeting.
Well, and I know Nathan and I talked about maybe a
Splitting.
percentage commitment.
Okay.
I'm the residential side that doesn't necessarily require it, but with the commercial and the front commercial, which we don't know who that's gonna be, and that's probably gonna be a big user. But if there was a percentage on this Victory Park approval, I am good with that. We just need to.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure we can come to an agreeable, what the impact is between the developers, and just put something.
There's 6 commercial properties of Cedar Glade, and then there's the funeral home.
Right, the stuff right on.
Church will remain probably as it is, and then there's Victory Park. So you've got 6, 7, 8 different parcels affected.
And this developer that is, at the Feldhouse funeral, or Feldhouse property there, they're still actively pursuing it. We've met multiple times with the same group. It's just that different deals have kind of fallen through. And, they even discussed, signalizing one section of that, straightening out some roads, things like that to improve that area. But those are all just variables at this point. And with, David Alcorn's, property right now for Victory Park, it doesn't warrant any of those. It's just only the right turn lane, as well as the, improvement to the intersection.
Just remember you're available tonight, so when we get to the, get to the final nuts and bolts, yeah. And thank you, I want to say real quick to the developer last year, thank you for making some edits to this, to the actual overall thing, and putting in a playground and a couple things. This isn't still where we want to get, but it is an improvement over what you brought us the first time. I do appreciate that you took the time to actually make some changes, so we're gonna make some of our own changes that are hopefully gonna get us more where we want to be, but that's not on here, so.
Oh, I did put it in there. I just got confused about it. Sorry, but I can actually point out where that right turn lane is and where the improvement at the intersection is. And you can see that light that's there, that's not warranted at the moment. It's just shown as potential if all those commercial lots are developed, as well as the Victory Park getting to 50%.
Okay. You have anything else to add?
No, let's see, I don't think, I do not, no.
Okay, any questions?
Well, I guess I do have something to add, sorry. The procedural notification. Yeah, I know, you should have pressed me. The procedural notifications are typical. They're all the obtain building permits, grading permits, and things like that, so.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the standard procedural notifications that Tom just mentioned.
Roll call.
Commissioner Wilkowitz.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
Councilmember Blevins.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Commissioner McGee.
Yes.
Commissioner Gill.
Yes.
Mayor Carroll.
Yes.
Approved.
7, new business, planning commission decision, site plan Hope Center Ministries, tax map 78, parcel 008.03, case file number SP 2025-12-003, Hope Center Ministries, Old Nashville Dirt Road, LLC owner, St. John Engineering LLC representative, requesting approval of a 6,176 square foot group care and family home on 5.13 acres, currently zoned R3, medium density residential. The parcel is classified as mixed density residential in the future land use map. Nashville Dirt Road is functionally classified as a local road with no future contact text characterization. This application received a BZA approval on 2/19/26 for special exception pursuant to U.S. Public Law 106-274, Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act, RLUIPA.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. I call it
Arlupia.
But yes, so I just used the BZA slides for this because it was important to understand the religious component of it. So this is 6,176 square foot group of family care that's operated by Hope Ministries on property owned by Old Nashville Dirt Road LLC. Both of them are religious organizations. The facility is a therapeutic support, it's non-medical, and it's the support for overcoming drug and alcohol addiction. Their facility is capable of housing 12 to 28 people for which is semi-permanent or semi-temporary, however you want to look at it, 8 to 12 months. So if you look in our appendix, family and group care is typically found in the R4 or higher density zone district. And so what the RLUIPA is to it's to prevent any kind of discrimination for religious exercise. And so you see, these are the ways that you can avoid having the federal government come down on you. There's 4 different ways of doing it, but you can do it in one of the ways, and this is what we use, was that you can treat a religious land use and compare it with a secular land use. And so in this case, what we compared it to was assisted living. Assisted living is another federal act under the Housing Act that is designed to eliminate discrimination, but to those people that are getting older. And then the RLUIPA is for removing the religious discrimination. Both of them are very similar type of functions and operations. So in this case, they've met all the requirements, and there was only one item that, let me back up a little bit. They're not, they still have to meet our developmental requirements. It has nothing to do with how it's developed. So they'll still have to meet all the setbacks, whether it's grading permit or environmental, things like that. They're not exempt from that, not exempt from any kind of sprinkler protection, which is what this one is going to require. But as far as everything else, they met our standards for this type of development, and as well as a special exception. And There was one thing, one comment that if we could make it as part of the approval, which is to reference the Board of Zoning Appeals approval for the special exception last week and to place that on the plan.
Neighbors, you told me this afternoon, have been contacted and they're agreeable for this.
They didn't put up any complaints, so I will take that as, yeah, so under a special exception, we're required to notify the neighboring property owners. So all the adjacent property owners were notified before the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. And only one person, HP, Hawkins and Price were the only ones that actually signed their card and returned it back. But no one had any complaints about this type of facility. And if you look at, and part of the discussion during the Board of Zoning Appeals as well, is that you can see that this is a large tract of land. The type of use functionally is very similar to a residential. There's just more people in there, but it's in a very controlled environment or managed environment. And you see that there's a lot of land in there that if there are any adverse impacts that like sounds or anything like that, then there's a lot of opportunity for buffering. But because of the large land area and the type of use, they're really it's not like an industrial activity or something that would create a lot of the complaints.
That was my only concern looking at it. I realize that stuff to the south is not developed, but we know there's a neighborhood coming there, R3 or R2.
Yes.
Is there, I didn't see any kind of landscaping on the south end of this, whatever they're building here. Is there going to be some kind of landscape buffer to get, because you're going to have a bunch of single family homes eventually lining the south edge of this. It'd be nice to have something. Can we require a landscape buffer? Is there something already in our design?
There's nothing really in our design standard that address that part of it. And there's a lot of flexibility under the religious hat, I should say, the religious cover. Some of those items can be, not that they did this, but some of the items like design standards and things like that, they can request exemptions from. Because it can be viewed as a burden on the religious exercise. But when I looked at this property, because I understand that to the south is going to be single family homes. I don't know what that road line is, because from the air, it looks like a great buffering there.
I think all that's been taken out.
Exactly.
The trees are gone.
It's been taken out.
Yeah, and this particular facility, they don't have any type of violent criminals, no sex offenders or anything like that, and it's a very strict environment of what they're.
I believe the church, this is a minister to the church, so their house. So I mean, that's one of the neighbors, and they're fine with it.
Yes,
They were in the church.
It's I know that Eddie Reed did come and sit on one of the pre-planned meetings with the developer. So I think it's part of a ministry.
It is, it's from the church.
Yes, and Hope Ministries, I can't remember how many.
They've got a lot all over the nation. They've got one in Normandy. They've got one in Dixon. I know a lot of them. I saw one in Normandy. It's really, really nice.
And they also have facilities overseas too.
Oh yeah, it's a mission. It's something that we need, and it's a ministry that they're going here. And the as far as the building, the one that I've seen, they've been really nice as far as the exteriors to kind of like that. That's what I think they use that.
Could we not make it a condition, maybe just, could we make it a request? We'll make it a request that we would like to have. I mean, it's just, okay, I don't feel like they're gonna get anything bad out of it, but there's gonna be people coming and going, pedestrian traffic, if you're in a single family.
That's fair.
Just request that they add some landscape buffering to the south, if they're, willing. Because if not, the developer to the south is gonna have to add something.
That's what they'll do too.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Anything else, Tom? Thank you. All right. I'll motion. You got a motion right here, Henry.
I'll second.
Got a second, Mr. Clemens. Roll call.
Yes. Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner McGee,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Blevins.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilhoit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, it's approved. B, major subdivision concept, 734 Main Street, tax map 0780, group G, parcel 4. Case file number SD 2026-01-003, Rodney C. Parson, owner, St. John Engineering LLC representative, requesting major commercial subdivision concept review by Planning Commission and proposing creation of 3 subdivided commercial lots. The approximately 3.07 plus minus acres is currently zoned C2 and classified as core character in the future land use map. North Main Street is functionally classified as a principal arterial with suburban future context characterization.
Yeah, I should change that this is gonna be coming in as a minor, subdivision. There's, 2 lots being created from the parent lot. There's no plans for the development right now. And as you can see, this is a concept, so this is just the informational. There's no requirement, and you really shouldn't, impose any type of commitments on it. There used to be houses there used to be 2 houses. There was nothing ever in the back. And, what the property owner is wanting to do is just to divide it off at this point to get it prepared for any type of, any future commercial development.
Is that the Chick-fil-A site, like right there in the north? Or is that?
What's right to the north?
Yeah, that's what I thought. This is an older map, I guess, right there.
Give us those buildings right there. What is that building right there, Tom?
Waffle House is just to the south.
Sir?
It's something from Waffle House.
So the Waffle House is the land in between the Waffle House and
Right.
I guess.
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A is a little ways.
yeah. it's
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
Then,
The map I couldn't
Bill
tell.
Powell is right there. You can see the
Uh-huh.
Yes.
home there.
Yeah.
Starbucks will be a little bit further on the
That's
side.
a
Right.
Okay.
important piece of property right there in the center of town.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what he's provided, is that concept layout?
Yes, and, this one, these ones had taps for the front houses that were there, maybe, I want to say over 30 years ago. There was nothing ever that I could tell on the back side of it, but there is infrastructure across Jefferson. So when it comes in the subdivision phase of it, there would be other requirements that are regulatory.
We're not voting on this, right?
No, don't vote on it.
Informational only.
Yeah, but now, and since we're talking about anyways, and I said, and I think it's a big fine river, staff has some concerns about the single access from
Yes.
North Main and not connected to the back. Will that have to be addressed when we get to the subdivision phase?
Yes, and Nathan, who's representing the owner, has already set up a meeting with TDOT for the concept part of it. We've already sat through, there was a proposal for a quick service restaurant here at one point, which is why we sat in on another TDOT meeting. But I can't remember if it was I don't remember what day it was, sometime last week. We went to visit TDOT's group to understand their process and then for them to understand our process. And one of the things that they are, they've amended their process, which is why you're seeing some of the longer lead time, because they're changing it as we're moving along, is they want to see projects on the front end. Even though there is an existing curb cut right here, doesn't necessarily mean that, they're going to honor that, because it's a substandard access there. So, whenever you have any type of change in use related to TDOT, it triggers other types of improvements that you have to make.
So will TDOT make the call on if that ends up being a public road through or private, or is that staff, or is that just everybody coming together?
I know that staff is still, I don't want to speak out of turn for them, I know, but that was still on the concept, and this is the same design. So, yeah, because this here is, one of the comments that came in was to to make this more of a commercial, a larger.
Yeah, it's kind of narrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
No.
Any other feedback you want to provide? All right. If not, we'll move right along. Okay, so I got that little, where it be. Major subdivisions, final plat amendment, Park Place, townhomes.
Oh, see.
Oh, did I miss? I knew.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's what I did. Okay, major subdivision, the C, major subdivision, preliminary plat, Cedar Glade, PUD, Cedar Glade Circle, tax map 69, parcels 5506 and 5508. Case file number SD 2026-01-004, Alcorn Properties LLC, Old South Properties owners, and St. John Engineering LLC representative, requesting approval of re-subdivision of open space, tract of land, and roadway. Total land area is 10.63 acres, zone plan unit development. In the future land use map, the parcel is classified as North Main Street Corridor Character Area. Cedar Glade Circle is functionally classified as a local road connecting to North Main Street, which is functionally classified as a principal arterial with suburban future context characterization. Concept reviewed by Planning Commission 11/18/25 and PUD amendment approved 1/22/26.
What was it, 22nd? I can't remember what day it was that the public amendment was approved. And yes, so, you're not experiencing deja vu. This is something that we looked at during the PUD amendment, portion of it. It met all the requirements. There was one thing that, that still needs to be worked out with staff as well as the developer and engineer, and that has to do with this roadway here, but that can just be discussed or worked at a staff level. But as far as meeting all the other requirements, this does have an essential nexus and rough proportionality for the dedication of public right of way. But they've addressed all of the other staff comments. And then the one or I should say one procedural notification is to coordinate with Shelbyville Power as well as city engineer and public works for that. It has to do more with just infrastructure, how the infrastructure is. And I don't know if it's just a confusion over what's done there, but it's something that can just be handled at a staff level. So we're recommending approval based on those two notifications.
Okay. Questions, comments, concerns?
Is this, at least this road has to be done before we can start on Victory Park, right? It looks like this is.
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct. Yeah, nothing can happen on Victory Park until this is done. And Victory Park, the last version that you saw in the report, as well as in I think it was on the slides, shows that roadway where they've adjusted it.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with the procedural notifications Tom mentioned.
Motion, got a second, Steve? Roll call.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Blevins,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilhoit,
Yes.
Mayor Carroll,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Teal,
Yes.
Commissioner McGee.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Now it is approved. I will move to D. Major subdivision, final plat amendment, Park Place, townhomes, building 5, what does that say? Building 5 inches, Horse Mountain Road, tax maps 78, parcel 38.02, case number SD 2026-02-006. Old South Properties, town home unit owner, Northcutt Surveying Incorporated representative requesting approval of plat amendment. Plat amendment amends easements and infrastructure, water, to building number 5, 7 townhome units totaling 8,485 square feet in a horizontal property regime zone planned unit development. In the future land use map, the parcel is classified as mixed density residential character area located off of Horse Mountain Road, a local road functional classification with no future context classification.
Yeah, that was a mouthful.
It is.
If you recall back in, well, maybe not, in July 2024, a lot of things happened since then. Building number 5 was part of multiple buildings on the site that were approved for a final plat. And this amendment, which is very straightforward, just adds infrastructure in the easement, clarifies that portion of it. And so we're recommending approval with no procedural or I guess one procedural is if, which is a general one, is obtain the as-built and recorded plat before recording the plat. But there were no comments from staff.
Motion approved with one procedural notification.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call.
Commissioner McGee,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Blevins,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilhoit,
Yes.
Mayor Carroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill.
Yes,
It's approved.
it's approved. E, major subdivision final plat amendment. Cedar Glade, Cedar Glade, Phase 3A, Cedar Glade Circle, tax map 069, parcels 55.09. Case file number SD 2026-03-004, RHB LLC owner and St. John Engineering LLC representative, requesting approval of plat amendment. Plat amendment includes 48 townhome units on 10.63 acres, zone plan unit development, PUD. In future land use map, the parcel is classified as North Main Street Corridor Character Area. Cedar Glade Circle is functionally classified as a local road connecting to North Main Street, which is functionally classified as a principal arterial with suburban future context characterization in the adopted corridor study. Tom?
Okay, I consolidated the presentation because I know you don't want me to repeat myself on 3A and 3B. They're both the same. 3A is to the front, 3B in the back. 3A actually came in and was approved in January 2025.
So E and F,
E and F, they have to be, I appreciate if you vote separately on them.
shall I read that? Go on and read F.
Oh, sure.
I think I'll go ahead and do that since we'll talk both of them. F, major subdivision final plat, Cedar Glade, PUD Phase 3B, Cedar Glade Circle, tax map 069, parcels 55.09. Case file number SD 2026-01-005. RHB LLC owner and St. John Engineering LLC representative, requesting final plat approval of 48 two-story townhome units in a horizontal property regime, HPR. Total land area is 10.29 acres, zone PUD plan unit development in the future land use map, and the parcel is classified as North Main Street Corridor Character Area. Cedar Glade Circle is functionally classified as a local road connecting to North Main Street, which is functionally classified as a principal arterial with suburban future context characterization.
Okay, so in both of these cases, back in May 2022, or actually I should say that this reflects the, or is aligned with the original pattern book, but it had all these townhome units in here. In 2025, these townhome units were approved for a final plat. This one, all it does is adds the actual building footprints on it. So it's a minor amendment. We have no, same type of procedural comment, which is obtain approval as built. But as far as that, there were no comments from staff. Oh, sorry, I paused there for a second because I forgot that I was speaking on both of them. Sorry. So phase 3B is the same thing. It's just the back side of it. This one provides for the townhome units. And in this case, so that we don't have to keep returning back for these minor amendment the actual, different types of element, private, the public as well as the limited, or I should say common, and the limited common is shown, with a provision for any type of adjustments in order to, so that we don't have to keep coming back for these minor amendments as they get built. But both of them, the procedural notification is just a general one to, get the approval of as-built as well as, recording of the plat.
We can do two separate votes on this.
Yes, please.
We'll need a motion on E. Major subdivision final plat amendment. That'd be 3A. Correct.
Yeah, motion to approve that one with, the one procedural notification. Yeah, phase 3A out of me.
Got a motion? Second, Mr. Taylor. Roll call.
I actually voted for Mr. Will Hoyt for that, so I have that time.
That'll be fine.
Mayor Carroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner McKee,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yeah.
Councilmember Blevins.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Will Hoyt. Thank you.
That D passes, so now we'll move to F, and that'll be Cedar Gate Glade 3B. I will entertain a motion. Steve, second motion. Second, Joe Paul. Joe call.
Councilmember Blevins.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Will Hoyt, Mayor Carroll.
Yes.
Commissioner Gill,
Yes.
Commissioner McGee,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Thank you.
That passes. 8, staff report. A, administrator approval, minor subdivision, 115 Scotland Heights, tax map 078J, Group B, parcel 12, case file number SD 2026-002, DCC Strategic Realty Partners, LLC. Owner, St. John, or they're the owner, St. John Engineering is a representative requesting approval of subdivision creating a single lot from a parent lot of a 0.69 acre parcel currently zoned R2, medium low density residential. Parcel is classified as a mixed density residential character area in the future land use map. Scotland Heights Road is a local road connecting to North Main Street, a principal arterial functional classification. Future context classification is suburban.
This one met all the requirements for administrative level. It was just creating a single lot from a parent. It had all the infrastructures available in that area, and they were subdividing it. There's enough area for another single-family home property.
Any questions? Questions for our administrative approval there? Okay, we'll move right along to B. We're not discussing B. So 9, adoption of training hours.
I believe we adopted all.
Yes, we did.
We can adopt more and we'll roll over to the next year. What do you say?
I am gonna schedule something in the near future for that as well.
We'll
We'll
just
get Sam back down here.
We'll do that. Okay, I guess if there is not anything else, then 10, we'll stand adjourned.